Hello everybody, and I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are reacting, well, technically we've reacted, but we're also adding to the reaction. Bear with me a second. Long story short, I reacted, or at least I filmed my reaction to cxoxo, maybe I want to say 2 weeks ago, but never got around to the editing until Camila announced that her deluxe version of the album was coming out called cxoxo Magic City Edition. So today, basically, alongside the original footage from 2 weeks ago where I reacted to the original format of the album, 4 brand new songs that were added as a deluxe version to the album. Now, before we get into the album, I just want to point out and say that I have been following Camila for quite a while, basically since the beginning of her solo career. I've seen her in concert, I know all of her discography, so to me it was fun to explore this artist for the first time on this channel with you guys. So yeah, now that you know a bit of background about this, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay. Okay, this part I might have like heard in the past. Okay. I mean, I see how people might perceive this as a massive change in sound. However, I feel like there are some tracks that we heard from her last album, Familia, if I'm not mistaken, that weren't that far off from this sound. And I'm not talking about the vocal production, but more like the instrumental production. Obviously, the I Love It is like kind of stand out, but it's not that much of a surprise to me. I was expecting something like massively different from, especially the single that had a lot of commentary from the audience. Okay, so far it really feels like an appropriate like intro song. I don't think I have a major like crush on the song. Yeah, I think obviously it's a little different, but it's not that much of a drastic change that I'm like, wow, look at that. Okay, and now the feature. Are you grown up? Are you too grown up? Okay. Okay. Is it my favorite track of her discography? Probably not. I don't know. The feature is meh to me. Yeah, I mean, meh. The lyrics are like okay. The production is fine. I feel like this is an appropriate intro song to set the tone for the rest of the album. Like this, that's what it is. That's what its job is. I'm curious as to why they chose it as a single. I guess we're gonna listen to the rest of the material and be able to judge after. I got shit on number 5 and never survived to crime. Seeing desire rising as eyes are lucky for them. Oh wow, what a surprise. I didn't expect that switch up that early on. Make them come alive. Okay. She entrusted that I want you, baby. Cause I love you not like daisies. She's an extra, I'm your leading lady. Whoa. I know just how to play my cards right. Make them. Okay. I kind of like this. The idea of like trying to make him jealous. I like that in the song. Hug the mic, take a bite, peekaboo thong. I think that taking a page from the book of like rappers and I guess quote unquote mumble rappers especially is a little surprising. She's definitely borrowing a signature that's not hers and it shows, but I appreciate the attempt to go outside of the comfort zone, really. I do see the resemblance to the one and only Charli XCX. I think it's like not exactly the same level. It's a popified mainstream version of it. Cause I love you not like daisies. I'm not just how to fuck with his mind. Make him come alive. You know, that's funny. I was thinking, take away Charli XCX. No, wait, what am I saying? Take away Camila from the song. The song by itself, I actually kind of like the lyrics and the imagery in it. Even the production, I like that it's kept simple. Kind of like the two sides of the same coin, like really, really calm, but also really, really crazy at the same time. We're talking about like making somebody jealous and like kind of a crazy mind situation. So I like that contrast artistically. Her performance on it, okay. There's nothing to stand out-ish about it. I mean, there is a certain coherence when it comes to style between the two songs. So we'll see if that stays that way throughout the project. Please don't be mistaken. I could think about you all the time. Ooh. I like this production on this track. I don't know if it's gonna flow into something else. Is it gonna flow? Because I could have taken a whole song like that. It's not gonna flow. Okay. Oh, that's the other single. He knows. Ooh. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna sound crazy. This is gonna be like a theory. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Isn't that kind of a slight reference to the song that she had with Shawn Mendes? Hold on, what was it? I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah, because there is a line at the beginning of the song, and I think it's repeated several times of like, I think he knows, or I think she knows. What was it? He knows. He knows. That is so funny. So this is like, it could be a direct reference to that song and, well, consequently the same topic. Interesting. Okay, let's continue. She's a provocateur, dance floor connoisseur. Give her one kiss just softly. Tease him and get him off me. Whoa. Before we jump into the Lil Nas X feature on the track, I just want to say that I kind of like this production a lot. Like, so far, this is the track that I like the most, I think. There's something about the synth production in the back that I like a lot. That makes me feel safer about this project. And I'm curious how the feature is going to be on that one, which, by the way, she has a lot of features on this album. I just want to point out a lot of rappers, which, I mean, kind of fitting with the rebranding and like the sound that she was going for, but still, nonetheless impressive for an album, you know, an average album that's not a collab album. Whoa. Damn. Wow. I think both in the description that he's like just told us about and in the song, he did the job. I think that's as far as I can say. He did the job. The reminds me of a dance song from like the 90s. I can't pinpoint exactly which one, but I don't know if that's a sample or if it's just like the production that happened to sound like it. There's a song that I can't quite remember. Anyway, if you know what I mean, let me know in the comments below. That sounds familiar. Okay, I think we're getting warmer and warmer in terms of like things that I'm definitely gonna like a lot from this album. Not quite there yet. I do like the production, but overall I think it's the songwriting that really bothers me because it's less catchy, very asymmetrical in the patterns, in the lyrics. I mean, it's definitely experimental in a way, especially for her knowing her discography, but it's definitely not a hit like she's produced it before. So there is a certain balance between like the simpler it is, the more commerciality or accessibility it has, and more people will tend to like it. And I think that's kind of what happened with like Senorita. At the other end of the spectrum, the more artistic it is, the more complex it is, the more experimental it is, the less accessible it becomes and the less appreciated it is from the everyday person. Like music connoisseurs maybe will like them. Whereas, you know, somebody who just listens to the radios and the singles and doesn't care about albums won't appreciate as much. And that's okay. There's multiple ways to appreciate music. But I see where there might have been a certain disconnect between the objectives and the will to make it a success, whereas the art that came from it wasn't quite aligned to be that as a result. Oh wow, what a switch up now.
I'm confused. I need more from you, that's the truth. I see why I try with you.
Aww.
And I laugh when you say I'm such a bitch sometimes. We probably won't work, okay? You're so tall, you just made me feel even more.
Okay, the melody, I for some reason, I immediately thought of Taylor Swift and like a song on Folklore. What was it? The one about the house. Na 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 key lime green. That's the only thing I remember. But the song about the house, that was American Dynasty. I think that's what it is. There's something about the melody that really reminded me of American Dynasty. I don't know if you guys can tell, like in the timing of how she pronounced the words, it's like there's too many words for the amount of like time that there is. So there's overlapping. The amount of syllables aren't equal between the lines. The rhythm is less memorable, less catchy. And the overall like vocal processing on it, especially because it's a guitar song. I mean, it does stay consistent in terms of vocal production with the rest of the tracks, but I don't know. I see where the comment, why the feedback has been the way it is. It's kind of very hit and miss.
Yeah, 20-somethings in love, in confusion, 20-somethings. Gotta sense of humor when it comes to us. Don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I mean, and that being 20-something years old.
What does that mean? I need a translator. I don't get it straight up.
Damn.
Like Manhattan, cross the bridge over to Brooklyn when it comes to us.
Okay, I gotta point out the fact that I really like the line, leave Manhattan, cross the bridge over to Brooklyn, because in most of the songwriting, you often say like, oh, I'm leaving the city, I'm leaving the country, I'm going to the other end of the world. But in this case, she just crossed the bridge and she's like, I don't know what to do now. Which, I mean, is a perfect imagery for how it feels to be in your 20s. So I really appreciate that. There's a certain quality to the lyrical writing on the album. And I think that people who don't pay attention to it are not going to find that quality. But yeah, if you kind of dig deep, there's something about the storytelling that I like a lot, and obviously is very relatable for me considering I'm in my late 20s. Oh God, I feel old when I say that. But yeah, I appreciate it.
Got bitches showing ass on college. Got bitches shaking ass on college.
Wow.
Cute girl ain't getting new nails done. Everybody look cause she caked up.
Okay, I like the production. I like the arpeggio that's playing in the back. Also, this kind of feels like a direction she would have taken had she pursued the oh my god route. Because remember, at the very beginning, there were 2 singles that were released at a time. She had Crying in a Club and I Have Questions released at the same time to see which one would perform better. Then they used the same strategy, releasing Oh My God featuring Quavo and Havana. But it's Havana that became a huge success. And so I feel like she decided to take that line. It went from the album Camila, then Romance, and then ended up in Familia. It kind of feels like she went back to the beginning and she took the other lane that was offered to her as a direction. I think this is what's happening. So it is a bit of a more drastic change. However, give it a bit of time to cook and the next one might really be something though.
Practice scheming, should I let it give us you love receiving? Wow. What the heck, I forgot I was famous. Wow. Going on him like I'm nameless. Wow.
Okay.
I'm from the city where the streets ain't pretty. Up a locker where the goons get it poppin'.
Real city girl shit, get it pop.
What?
Got bitches shaking ass on college.
I feel like I'm having a seizure. Like I'm listening to 2 different genres completely merged together. And I feel like I'm just like somewhere in purgatory, just trying to figure out where the hell I am.
Baby, we could hide out on Collins. Real Miami girls on Collins.
What is this Tchaikovsky remix? That was interesting.
I was going through like kind of like a heartbreak. The first music like album that I actually like shed tears to music while it's playing, like
Wow.
the Camila album. So like
Gotta say that album was really, really good. Huh. I mean, I do remember I think crying to like one of the ballads. Okay, Drake's on it.
When it's hot uptown, and you miss my love.
Hot uptown, and you miss my love.
Wait.
2 hands on my waist, 1 hand on your face.
Wait. Whoa.
Trying one more time, cause we look so good on paper.
Okay, I must say with 100% certainty, her team did her a huge disservice by not releasing that as the first single. That absolutely should have been the first single. Not just because Drake is a feature on it and it's known that whatever track Drake is on is highly performing, but also the production on this one specifically is a lot more accessible and it would have been a great transition period to her new sound. That first single that sounded like an opening of an album just to set the tone wasn't gonna make it commercially, but this is a perfect in between that would have helped her gradually get into this sound and helped her perform a better rebranding that would have gone smoother. I don't understand why they didn't use that one as a single. But I think it would have been a more judicious decision to make at the beginning of this album cycle. What a missed opportunity though. I like the beat, I like the production, I like Drake's feature, and I like her singing on it too. That might be the first track that I'm really like, oh, I appreciate a lot.
Giving me my space, you better hang on to me this time.
Wow. I'm actually really disappointed. That could have really kicked off the cycle really well.
CC, they need me to to break it down.
Oh yeah, Drake's feature. And it's so funny, he's the only artist credited on the track.
There's not a measure and tape long enough that could measure the distance that I went for you.
That's not where I thought it was going.
Disgusting!
Ugly.
Interesting.
Just for your new link to think you a pro. What does he know?
Okay. Is the track pronounced ugly or you ugly? Asking the real questions here.
You always manage to end up at my place.
That was an experience. It sounds more like an interlude, but it was a long interlude. I wonder what prompted the decision to add that as a track on the album. I know that they've been hanging out a lot, and she definitely took a few notes from his music, but okay, just, yeah. Okay.
It was Keisha, it was Sonya, and I think she knows she's the shit. Yeah. Body, yaddy, 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 'cause she work out. Brought the Fuji to Uchi, fuck the phone out.
Okay.
Yeah. Play some 2000s, they want shuffle.
That is so funny because at the beginning I was like, oh, this reminds me of the beginning of the career of Jennifer Lopez. A little bit. And then it went through this reggae beat, which I was like, damn, okay. And we're more like in the islands and more like the Latina side from Camila. It's funny that she was referring to early 2000s music because at the beginning I was like, sounds like it.
She got standing up, gas her up, yeah, I think she knows she's the shit. Yeah.
Okay.
For all the girls that are learning to be women now, know we keep it sexy while we figure it out. You didn't know, well you know now.
Well, now I know what the song is about. Okay, this was definitely like a club song more than anything. Just reminds me of like when you're in a club at like 2 a.m. and this is the type of music that comes on just to like end the night. Once again, I don't know. That feels less attached to the album. Like we're getting to a point where the beginning of it was very cohesive, and the further we're getting into it, the more it feels like just a bunch of tracks that were put together on the same project and less thought out together as a whole during the conception of it. The track itself, I'm not a major fan of. It's okay. You know, I don't mind it, but it's not like up my alley.
And then the girl,
Yeah, I'm obsessed. Malibu bar, no, Miami bar.
You know what? I feel like this album is in a way an ode to where she grew up, being Miami. This album kind of speaks to her experience in Miami, and that's where she got the inspiration from this project. So I see where it comes from. That's the thing. I see the vision, just maybe didn't exactly translate into real life the way, I don't know. Yeah, let me finish a few tracks. Oh wow.
you never think it's the right time until I'm good with someone else. You probably have me for a lifetime if you didn't need some help.
Whoa.
And I fucked up, baby, big time.
Okay, maybe a bit too much auto-tune.
You were the best of all time.
Oh, okay. Best of all time. See, BO.A.T being obviously a reference to like Miami in a way close to the ocean. Acronym for best of all time, which is also a tie-in with her romances. It was almost there. Like this track, I kind of like. A little bit too much auto-tune in my opinion, but in the songwriting, and now we're getting something interesting in the production too, I actually appreciate it.
Text I won't send.
Oh.
You never asked me about these nights, baby. I pray that you find out. Could fall in love without you. I forget why I try.
Wait, isn't that a sample from Pitbull? Yeah, isn't it the Hotel song? It's the same melody as like Hotel, Motel, Holiday Inn. And obviously people being from Miami, so that's another way to link everything together. Hotel, Motel, Holiday Inn. See, there's like little parts here and there that are really genius. But, yep, I just heard the sample. There you go. It was almost there. I think it just needed a little more direction and a little more like simplification, I think, to be a little more accessible. But the ideas were there. I understand the vision and where it was going. It could have been really something great. And I think that's the major thing about this album. There was so much potential to it.
Put on my best dress to see you. You're sorry, baby. Me too.
Ooh, her voice crack. Ooh.
Pink and blue, diamond eyes. Look at what you lost in me.
Ooh.
Pretty when I cry. Hot when I ride. Look,
Okay.
everything cool as ice. You just didn't want to do me right.
This production is great.
Pretty when I cry. Pity you don't want me.
Whoa, I really like it.
Unlimited when the sun sets.
What in the house music is happening?
Pretty when
And that one could have definitely been a single too. I definitely see it. Whoa, Pretty When I Cry really had a great production and I liked it. I liked the lyrics as well. I liked how she turned something negative, which is obviously crying, into something positive. The lines like turning her brown eyes blue and the glitter falling off of her. I liked it. It matched the theme of the album, part of the sound of the album. It was a little simpler, more accessible. That's a track that I made it for me. That I liked.
I might as well say meet me in Montauk. Cold Beach, you walk.
Okay.
If she's so amazing, why are you on this side of town?
Ooh, she's asking the real questions now.
Does she get this wet for you, baby? Talk to you in poems and songs, huh, baby?
Whoa. Okay.
I'm so over you. Why would I die? Feel this alive. Falling to the kitchen floor, goddamn. Always been a problem.
Okay. I kind of like this idea of a music outro to conclude the album. You know what? I didn't mind that. It wasn't my favorite track, but I didn't mind it. From that song and definitely the end of the album, it's almost like she took this album to camouflage her sadness from dealing with whatever breakup and situations she was going through. Trying to patch this up and make it a lot more happier than what she maybe wanted to admit. And it could have been this like dark, boppy, sad hours type of pop album that could have definitely worked, taking inspiration from the different sounds that she definitely wanted to integrate within the project. The beginning it was very coherent, and then by the end I feel like it went in a couple of different directions and it wasn't as cohesive as I thought it would be. That being said, there's nuggets in it. Like when you kind of deep dive in the lyrics, in the production, in the layers, there are things about this album that I really, really liked. It felt a little bit like she was kind of looking for herself within the music. She felt like a little bit of an identity crisis, which definitely happened with the rebranding. That's definitely what happened. But there are still a few tracks that could have been really something. Take those, kind of play around, simplify a bit of production on the other tracks. There are definitely highlights on this album, but there are a couple of lowlights as well. It's an okay album. Probably not my favorite from hers, but there are a few tracks that I can't wait to listen to again and dive deeper in again. And like I said, I think really the main idea is it really could have been something. It could have been something. I see where it was trying to go. I see what the vision was. It just fell a little short in the execution. And it's okay. It happens. Not every project is the best. And it's going to pave the way for the next projects that will take from what it's learned and what she's learned this time around and build upon that. And we'll see what comes in the future. All right, so if you've made it this far, this means that we've concluded the original format of the album, and we are now jumping into the deluxe tracks of the album. There are 4 of them: Baby Pink, Come Show Me, Can Friends Kiss, and Godspeed, which I think is the single that came out at the same time. Let's jump right into them.
I like the way you texted me.
Okay.
Get it, then I planned.
Ooh.
That's some other baggage go, cause I couldn't let you go. See my letter at your door, signed cxoxo.
Oh, so is that where cxoxo originated from as a title? Because I don't think, from memory, we had any other references in the album in the original version of cxoxo. So far, this track is kind of on the better half of the album. I actually kind of like the production, and I like the very fast-paced reggae situation that's happening here. And the processing of the vocals is interesting too.
Daydreaming about you. Do you ever think about me?
Oh.
Send my tears for the Visine, you know what I mean? Had dreams about getting rich.
Okay.
And if you say that you with it, then I'm about it.
It's almost as if the track was recorded and then fast-paced on so many different levels, including the vocals and the musical production. Everything seems to be like abnormally fast. Yeah, it just makes for an interesting vocal production on the track. Okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's interesting because while I was editing the video, or at least the first part of the original footage, there's something about the album where the more you listen to it, the more, or at least in my case, I appreciated the album. There are some tracks that are like very out there, very, I guess, production-wise intense. And like I said, not very accessible necessarily to like the everyday person. But if you really want to be in a very specific mood or a very specific vibe, this album can do it for you. I don't know, I've seen a lot of comments saying that it's not that great, but it's not as bad as some people might make it to be. Like, it's just a very specific genre and this direction, and obviously you have to be in the mood for it, but I actually turned out to appreciate it more upon going back to it. And there's another phenomenon too, where I saw a post on social media because she started touring, or at least doing festivals with this album. She was saying something along the lines of, this album was meant to be performed live. And it made me think that this is sort of what happened with the Renaissance album by Beyonce. When I first listened to it, I was like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, I appreciate Beyonce's work and it's great talent, but that's a very intense album. But over time, I learned to appreciate it more. And when I saw it live, that's when I had a massive appreciation for it. So I think that could be the case for this album too. If it's something that live in concert provides an incredible experience, people are going to live some sort of rebirth with it. They're going to be like, oh, this is like what it means and this is like how it's interpreted. We'll see how that pans out, but there are some elements to it that probably were conceived with the mindset of being performed live. And so it might not translate as well in a listening to the album context, but definitely live could be like an amazing experience. Oh.
Okay, come show me, okay, yeah. Come show me you can handle all this body.
Okay.
Hands in my hair, baby. Steady it there, baby. Don't go nowhere, baby.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah. And I went to cinematic. To the man after party. Got a wrench on my kiss.
I mean, that one kind of felt like a deluxe track. I definitely would not have chosen to put it on the main version. I don't mind it. I wouldn't skip it in the context of listening to the whole album, but it doesn't stand out much. That being said, to refer back to what I was saying before, it kind of draws a page from the hip-hop genre of music, you know, with all the references and the way that it's presented, very like sung rap, which generally speaking, I don't mind, but it's definitely out of the box for Camila to try. And I don't know how successful she was at it this time around. There might be like some halfway that she could do between her mainstream pop music and this avenue, but right now as it stands, it's not the best I've heard of her. And I think another element too is that Camila is a great singer. She has a lot of vocal abilities. I think that was really overshadowed in the album with the vocal production, the auto-tune, just like we saw in Baby Pink, how it was like quickened in the production for a specific purpose and a genre that she and her team were trying to achieve. So for fans that are used to having those great vocal performances, obviously they might have felt a little lost in the project because of not having that staple that we would usually get from an album of hers. Okay.
I'ma call you, I'ma hit your number.
Ooh.
Keep friends, kiss. Touch each other like this. Little too close, play a pop console. And my mind is going like this.
Okay.
I don't like your new girl, she don't move me.
Okay.
Come touch my body, I'm a busy body. Come,
Ooh, I like that.
I'm a busy body. Come find me
Okay. Oh, this one I like.
on the cover like this. Little too close, play a pop console. And my mind is going like this. Fall in love with me, I'm bored. We
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This one I like a lot. Okay. It's funny because, once again, as I was editing the video, I did refer to the song "He Knows What," "She Knows What I Did Last Summer." He knows what I keep forgetting the title, but in the track "He Knows" on this album, right, saying that it kind of borrows from the same theme. And now, can friends kiss? There is a track on Romance, and I don't remember which one, but there's something like friends don't know how each other taste, something along the lines of that.
You say we're just friends, but friends don't know the way you taste. La la la.
Kind of tying in again the storylines. I think honestly there is a level of intelligence in this album and self-awareness that is really interesting. You just have to dig a little deeper and like really know her well. So I understand how like commercially for people that don't necessarily know Camila might really like the singles but have not explored the albums. They didn't understand this one, they didn't connect with it as much. But as like somebody who knows her history, like the more you listen to it, the more you pay attention, the more connections you can make. Like I said, I really see the vision. Otherwise, I really like the track. I like the production, and I think it's catchy. And definitely, I think that's gonna be in the upper part of my list.
I don't wanna be at this party anymore. I don't think your jokes sound funny anymore. The some things should have stayed in my head. Wouldn't it be nice? But you know me, and I hope you find some peace. Godspeed.
I appreciate this, especially as a closer.
This is so elusive.
Whoa.
Juices for the bruises. I got real life.
Whoa.
I let you go and I feel more like me.
Whoa.
Godspeed.
The track has a place on the album. It has a purpose. There's a reason why it's there. I think it closes the album well. There's storytelling. If you follow the story in the album and the characters, if you will, of the album, it feels appropriate. Is it like it's a ballad? It's obviously an experimental ballad. It's not necessarily something that people are going to gravitate towards, which brings me to the point of I don't understand why this one is a single. I get it from the perspective of maybe she wanted to make a statement about something, especially because since having reacted to this album, there's been a lot of like conversation about her relationship with Sean's relationship with Sabrina Carpenter, a lot of back and forth and references between the album and in the music. I think Godspeed plays on two different levels when it comes to like its theme. There's the goodbye to the person and the relationship and the connection that she had with the person as a topic of the song. But there's also like the Godspeed in reference to maybe this era as a whole. Like this had to happen to be able to close up shop, move on to something else. It's a sound and a project that had to come out of her. She didn't expect all the success. So from an artistic perspective, I get why. Like, I get the decisions. However, from a business standpoint, knowing how important it is and how there's only so much that artistry can go get if it's not accessible to people, I really question the decisions that were made with this album. It really felt, like I said, like trying to find the right tone. It felt a little, I don't want to say improvised, but definitely lost and trying to make sense of things. I don't know. I just question so many choices about this. The album in itself, like, I get it. Some tracks, maybe I don't connect with it. Maybe some other fans don't connect with it. And that's okay. That's what a piece of art is at the end of the day. It's her personal work. It stands for something that she's gone through, the stories that she wants to tell. But from a rollout marketing and business perspective, when you take the piece of art and then you try to make it commerciable, I don't think that's a word, but for this case, I think you guys understand what I mean. There's something that I'm trying to understand in the strategy with it. You know what? The most important part is if she's happy with it. And I think that as music fanatics, we have to respect that. A lot of the criticism is negative, and I don't think that's deserved in a way where it's borderline condescending. And I think that's not okay. It's okay not to relate. It's okay not to understand. It's okay not to share the same avenue of preferences. But you just go, that's a project, that's an era, that's a time capsule, and that's not my thing. And come back later if you're a fan of hers. Or if you're not, there are some other products that will suit your desires and your sound much more than this one. And that's okay. That's what the music industry is. And that's it for my reaction to cxoxo Magic City Edition. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction and I guess more of a commentary at this point because I had a lot of things to say about the project. Don't forget to go say in the comments my ranking and comment what your thoughts and opinions were about this project. Give a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of this content, whether it's regarding Camila or other albums and other projects from different artists. And I hope you guys had a good time and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.